All right. So, state of mind. Hit this button right here and subscribe. See that? Sunday. And I am talking to Haley Pullos. She's an Emmy-nominated actress. She's done a lot of commercials.
That's true.
She's a sweetheart. And she plays Molly Lansing. So she's here today. We're going to talk about a lot of different things. And the reason, well, not the only reason, but I want to talk to young people. I want to get their perspective on mental health, on life, on everything. How you doing, Haley?
I'm really great. I'm excited to be here.
I'm excited you're here. We should, what's funny is I talked to Leslie Charlson, and I have known Leslie for almost 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I've never had a conversation with her.
That's crazy.
Until State of Mind.
That's crazy.
And you and I have never really had a conversation. I mean, we had little talks here.
Certainly not since I've like been an adult.
Yeah. Right. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Here we are. I'm gonna get to know you.
Yeah, I love it.
Where are you from?
Originally, I'm from NorCal. I'm from Sunnyvale, but I moved to LA when I was 8, so I consider myself from LA.
But I'm from I was born in San Francisco.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and I grew up in Martinez.
Oh my God, I had no idea.
Yeah.
How funny. What a small world.
Yeah. How was it growing up? How?
I mean, it was interesting. I think growing up being a literal child actor is very different from just like normal kids' experiences.
You started how?
I've been acting since I was 8.
Oh
I moved to LA for acting.
At 8?
Mm-hmm.
And what did you do at 8?
Oh my gosh. My first role ever was just a little spot on a sitcom called Till Death. I don't know if you ever heard of that.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was my first job.
And did you get it right when you got to LA, or did it take time, or did you go with the job?
So it was interesting. When I first came out, it was kind of like everything started happening really quick. And my mom was like, oh my God, she's going to be an overnight success. And my dad was like, all right, maybe
Take
not.
it easy. Yeah.
I obviously was not an overnight success, but that's okay because I think that brings its own issues that you have to deal with.
What's that issue?
Well, I mean, that's like the Britney Spears.
Too much, too fast?
The Britney Spears, phenomenon.
Yeah.
It was, I think, a little too much, too fast.
Yeah, I agree with you. And
Yeah.
she's bipolar.
Mm-hmm.
That's an interesting topic to talk about.
She's a very, very interesting person.
Let's talk about that.
All right, let's do it.
Ooh. Because you know what? Many people have asked me to talk about it or do a state of mind on it, and I just didn't because I didn't want to get in trouble or people say but obviously what happened with her was not right to
Right.
the father, what do they call that?
The conservatorship.
Yeah. So that wasn't cool. But I think people have to understand that she has mental illness.
Mm-hmm.
So that, it's hard to judge one way or the other. I mean, what do you think about that whole situation?
In regards to the conservatorship, I mean, I feel that she should have been in control of her own life
Yes.
for many, many years now.
Yes.
And I think that if she had been, she might not have gotten to the point that she's at today. And I think it's also probably really, really difficult for her to have to live all of these things so publicly.
Yes.
Because it's very clear that she's still, going through some stuff. You can tell on her social media.
Good for you to say that, because when people wanted me to talk, probably all for whatever they wanted me to talk about, I'd look at her Instagram and say, I don't think she's doing great.
No, I don't think so either. But you know, I think that it's also just like, it just sucks. Like, it sucks that she has to be in the
Okay.
public eye in the way
Yeah,
that
yeah.
she is,
Yeah, yeah.
because I think if she just had a little bit more privacy, if she were able to deal with these things on her own, with, you know, her own support system, that
Yes.
might be a better
I agree with you.
way.
Boy, we agree on that good.
Yeah.
I just think that at this point, if she's getting the help she needs,
Mm-hmm.
and I think she'll be great, right? But if she doesn't get the help she needs, I know because I live it.
Yeah.
I've been on lithium for 30 years. My book is Lithium Saved My Life. It did.
Mm-hmm.
So did my wife. But
That was so cute. Oh my God, that just melted my heart.
it's true. And, you know, but if I didn't take lithium, and it's similar to anybody who's bipolar, no matter how much someone loves you, if you don't get help, eventually they should leave you.
Mm-hmm.
My wife didn't leave me after threatening to kill her, or, you know, things that I did that were not good, because I wanted help.
Mm-hmm.
I was, you know, I'm one of those people with bipolar who, please help me. So it's very important to stay on your medication.
Oh, I'm a big believer in medication. I have ADHD.
What is that exactly?
It's attention deficit hyperactivity disorder or something like that. I wasn't diagnosed with ADHD until I was 23. I'm 23 now, so it's like a new.
No.
Yeah.
Why weren't you diagnosed?
Because ADHD is really, for the longest time, doctors kind of wouldn't diagnose it in young girls because it manifests differently in women than it does in men. And so young girls would be experiencing ADHD and they just would go forever and ever without getting a diagnosis, whereas little boys are diagnosed with ADHD all the time.
And what are the symptoms? What is it?
So in women, it's a lot more of like hypersensitivity to rejection, either real or imagined.
Like if you get rejected, you become depressed?
Yeah, and it's just like sometimes things hurt my feelings so bad because I take it so personally, even if it has nothing to do with me. And I think that that's like an ADHD thing.
Yeah.
And it's truly debilitating. And
How about anxiety? Any anxiety with
oh
you?
my gosh, all of the anxiety in the world. I've been taking anxiety medication for about a year now.
I don't know anything.
Yeah.
About, you have?
Yeah.
Now I feel bad. You know what? When you say that, I feel bad that we never got to talk about this.
I haven't been very open about this until recently.
Oh.
I mean, if asked, I would talk about it, but I don't think I would have talked about it
No.
openly here.
But you know what? All my stuff.
Of course.
Yeah. So it's like, what'd you take for anxiety? What do you?
So for anxiety, I take Zoloft.
How's that?
It's great. You know, for some people, it just doesn't work for them. For me, it happens to work. And it's amazing. I can't remember what I take for ADHD, but usually it's treated with uppers like Adderall or Vyvanse or things like that, and those exacerbate your anxiety like crazy. And so I specifically I remember asking, like, I don't even know if this exists, but if there's a way to treat ADHD without going on a stimulant like Adderall, I need that.
Now Adderall's
bad.
You can be addicted to Adderall.
Yeah, I did not want to be on Adderall.
Because I watch Intervention all the time. It's like, I'm hooked on Intervention.
I love it.
I love Intervention, and Adderall's a tough.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but you know that's the amazing part about mental illness, anxiety, anything, depression, anything.
Mm-hmm.
If you looked at us right now, you would not imagine what you have gone through or what I have gone through.
Mm-hmm.
You think we're just you can't judge by the way you look.
I
Because
know.
I didn't know you had this. And this is,
Yeah.
wow. Now I take Lexapro. No, I got off it, but it saved my life also.
Mm-hmm.
Lexapro. Now, just for the people, get into what that feels like, the pain of anxiety or depression. What happens inside of you, in your mind, in your insides? Because I know what happens to me, but
It literally feels like the inside of my body is engulfed in flames. It feels like I'm on fire from the inside and my body's dying. I'm dying. And that's how my brain reacts, as if I'm literally
that's right.
in the process of dying. And it oh my God, I'm like getting stressed out just talking about
that's
it.
Good. That's
but
good.
like, oh, it is genuinely the most overwhelming, uncomfortable, painful, awful experience. It literally feels like death.
And the thing is, because what you just said is I changed the line as Sonny.
Mm-hmm.
And you can apply it to what you just said, and I changed the line to it feels like being in a nightmare and not being able to wake up.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it does.
And then you wake up and you're like, and then the reality hits, and reality's the nightmare also.
Mm-hmm.
But people don't understand what exactly. I think they're starting to now.
Yeah, the conversation's so different now.
Yes. But before, if you have not been through it, you can't tell somebody what you just said,
Mm-hmm.
and without them going, come on. It's only anxiety.
Mm-hmm. Like, it's all in your head. Just get over
Yes.
it. Like, of course it's in my head. My head is a part of my body.
And that's the problem, because and the paranoia that sets in.
Mm-hmm.
I remember being in anxiety and not being able to even post something on Instagram because I was petrified.
Yeah.
I mean, do you get a lot of people saying stuff about you on Instagram because of, how you look? Or
Yes.
What is that like?
Well, I mean, I was a child actor. I did grow up in the public eye. I have been on GH since I was 10 years old. And so people really, I think, feel like they know me personally. And because of that, I think they feel like they can say things to me that maybe are not actually very appropriate. Like, people always comment on how I look, whether they like it or dislike it. And
what is there to dislike? And how you look?
There are just some people. I mean, I remember when I was 18 years old, I just went through my first breakup and I cut my hair really short. There were people who literally made like specific social media pages dedicated to hating my haircut.
Really?
Yeah, like I was like freshly 18. I was still a baby. I was going through it, and then I turn around and everyone on social media is like, "Oh, by the way, you're ugly now because you have short hair." And it's like, "Oh my God, I'm just like, you just get it from all sides, man."
That's just wrong, man.
Yeah.
That's just wrong. How did you do you just don't look at it? Do you just eventually get thick-skinned, or how do you fix it?
Honestly, I'm still dealing with it and learning to accept it, because it's hard, especially when it's something so personal about literally the way that I look. Like, okay, what do you want me to do about that? Like,
there's nothing.
I'm sorry. But it really is just, it's a little bit of a mixture of not looking, and thick skin, and knowing where to look, because I know that there are so many nice things on social media too, and it's like,
yes,
there are way more nice things than there are horrible things, but for some reason it's so easy for me to find those horrible things, and so I know that I need to be better about not looking for the horrible
Yeah.
things and just focusing on those wonderful things that people are saying as well.
Yeah, I think the key,
Hmm.
since I'm a little older than you,
Yeah, please
to,
share.
to let you know, what changed me, I've always been one my whole life. It's the way I was brought up. I care too much what people think,
Me too, for sure.
right? Once you can work on that
Hmm.
and break that, all that goes out the window.
Hmm.
But we're so caught up in, why did they say that? That's not right. And since the pandemic, I've shifted my head, and I'm not there yet.
Hmm.
And I'm gonna be 60 in a couple of years. But when you really work on that in therapy or wherever, to get rid of that thing, it is liberating.
That's so funny because that's something I've actually been working on in the last year or so myself. I just read The Four Agreements recently, which is a great book. And I'm like diving into this like personal freedom and this path to enlightenment. And I have genuinely like let go of my attachment to, or mostly for the most part, I've let go of my attachment to other people's expectations or their
Yeah,
feelings
of
or
course.
their
Right.
thoughts or their opinions or anything, because that all of that's just the 3D. I don't need to react to the 3D. I just need to know what I want from life, and I just need to
Yeah,
persist, and I
yeah.
need to focus on myself.
Yeah, since we're talking books, Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now. Great, man.
I'll have to check that one
Oh
out too.
my God. But it's funny. Every time I go back to it, I understand it more.
Yes, I love that.
Right?
Yes.
Like, I knew, like 15 years ago, I got it, but I didn't get it.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a thing that he says in there that I always say that I love. And I haven't heard it or read it lately, which I should get it again. But he said you can have two people in prison. One's pulling his hair out, and he's just going crazy in there. And then the other one's painting. Because the one who's painting is truly in the moment. He's not thinking about the past or the future. He's just in the moment. And that's the key, to live in the moment.
Yeah.
So I want your opinion then on something. There's a study from Brigham Young University that just came out that kids that are on social media, the suicide rate has jumped way up.
That doesn't surprise me.
I know, it doesn't surprise me either. But there is good in social media, right?
I think so. I think there's definitely good in social media, but I think people as a whole, like society as a whole, we kind of take things to the very like edge of its
Yes.
existence. We push it and
Yeah.
push it and push it. And I think that's what we've done with social media. And social media has definitely kind of like rotted most people's brains a little
Yeah.
bit in the way that you're supposed to talk to other people, in the way that humans like actually look in real life. Like there are so many
I know.
things. And so that I think,
And people's expectations of what they think they should look like.
yeah.
Exactly what you talked about earlier. You know, people can be mean. And sometimes words that are mean can kill people.
Oh my God, I know. The saying, sticks and stones may
Yeah,
break
yeah,
my
all that,
bones,
yeah.
but words will never hurt me or
Yeah.
something. That's the worst phrase that has ever been invented, because that's so incorrect.
Yeah, I know. I mean, that's on a shallow level.
Yes, very
but
shallow.
It's true. These kids they can't take it. But then again, social media, like my family thinks I'm addicted to social media. But I'm not addicted. But I am obsessed, maybe, right? But the beautiful thing about social media is that with state of mind, I can reach people who are in need, and they watch, and then I can respond to them. And also, I love picking music creatively. It's good for me to pick music to pictures, and so that's now when I find myself start feeling like I have to do it, then I back up.
Yeah.
Okay? If
I
I
get
want to
it.
do it's cool, right?
Yeah.
But having to do it is not good. But in the sense of mental health, if kids are killing themselves, we need to fix that problem.
Yeah.
And we should stop being mean on social media, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. What's the big one? TikTok.
TikTok. Oh, that's the biggest one now. Yeah.
TikTok, right? But then again, look, I like TikTok. I'll tell you why I like TikTok. Because you get everything in TikTok. I get why it's so, addictive. Because you get it all. You get, animals. You get sweet stuff. You get stupid stuff.
It's literally everything. It's
Everything.
like the whole universe
Right.
is right there. You
Right.
can have like how-tos
Exactly.
all the way to like
right.
just cute little outfits.
So I get that. I get that. Let's talk about your podcast.
Okay.
Give it to me.
Well, we are called Criminally Insane.
Oh, Criminally, yeah.
We're a true crime podcast. I run it with my partner and co-host Dylan Keenan. She and I we've been working on this for a little over a year now. And it's like you were saying before, it's like my pet project. It's my, that was my mic. Sorry.
That's all right. I saw you advertising it. It's really cool, man.
Thank you.
No, it is cool.
Yeah.
So what you just, okay, first of all, and my family will tell you, I love serial killers.
Really?
Stuff.
Oh my God, you have to listen to us.
I love
then.
all that stuff. Dateline. I can go on and on. All the Netflix documentaries on Ted Bundy.
Ted Bundy is actually my favorite serial killer.
Is he?
Yes.
But what is it that we like about it?
I don't know. I haven't quite figured that out yet. I think some part of it has to do with like, and this might be weird, but I think it's like this weird voyeuristic obsession. Like we want to understand what's going on. And for me specifically, my podcast is very centered around mental health and like kind of what goes on in the minds of these
the human behavior. That's what I love.
Yeah, exactly. That is what I find so fascinating about murder as a whole.
Yeah, I'm. That's all I want. And I hate to even talk about it because people are like, oh, so he is kind of,
Well, so that's why I started my podcast, was because I couldn't stop talking about murder, and people were like, girl, are you okay?
But some of them are mentally ill, but some people are just bad people.
Some people are just bad people. Yeah.
They have no conscience, right?
Yeah.
They just don't.
Like Ted Bundy, I believe he had like a pretty decent childhood upbringing. His family life
drank every time before he killed, right? He got drunk.
I don't know.
Oh,
He might
yeah.
have. Did he?
Yeah.
Okay.
Before he would do stuff, he would drink.
That's funny. I was just about to cover, spoiler alert for Criminally Insane, but I was just about to cover him for the podcast, and I haven't quite gotten to it yet. So I'm going to do a real deep dive into him soon.
I'm going to tell you something that I saw, that if you can get a hold of this tape, I saw the only survivor from Jeffrey Dahmer tell his story.
Oh my God.
He was on Geraldo.
Mm-hmm.
Geraldo Rivera, if you even know Geraldo, you'll look it up, Geraldo Rivera. But it's just when you hear it from his mouth, the fear that went on is unreal.
Mm-hmm.
Now, to me, I think you would agree. I don't think, if you don't agree, let me know. Jeffrey Dahmer was probably I don't know if it's worst or best, serial killer in history,
Definitely one of them, yeah.
right? I mean, when you eat people,
Yeah.
this is
That makes you pretty bad.
yeah. I think you're one of the top 3, right?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Well, how do people see this podcast?
We are wherever you listen to your podcasts, whether
Yeah.
that's on Spotify,
Oh, really?
Apple Podcasts, Google Play, I believe. We're listed wherever you can listen.
All right, good. So what about this Netflix thing? Because I try to, if I try to say the title, I'm not gonna.
The Expanding Universe of Ashley Garcia.
Ah,
Yes.
how was that experience?
That was great. That was a few years ago. We filmed that before COVID. So that, I mean, it was a lot of fun. It was
What was your character?
I was the mean girl. I was like the mean popular girl in school. And I was so much older than the main cast. I felt so motherly towards them because it was my first time being like the older person of the group, because usually I'm the youngest person on set. That's not the case anymore. No. I'm not the youngest anywhere.
Wow. Now GH, what's happening with that? Because we got to talk about GH, otherwise Frank Valentini will be mad at me. Aren't you getting married or something?
I am married, or I have a domestic partner. So I'm domestically partnered, I believe, but I call him my husband.
Oh, all right.
Haley, I call him my husband. Molly calls him her domestic partner. But
and what about
he's just my husband?
Nancy? What's up with with Alexis?
I have no idea. I don't think I've even like seen Alexis's character in a hot minute.
Wow. And we don't do anything.
Nothing.
You don't get around Sonny.
Nope. I want to though. I want to like turn bad and be a mob lawyer. I think that'd be sick. I'm the only person who's like a little goody two shoes and has never. I mean, I did. Okay, that's not true. I did accidentally cheat on TJ, but it was an accident.
Oh yeah.
I didn't know that he was alive and had been kidnapped.
And you cheated on him?
Yes.
And what happened? Nothing. He got upset.
He found out. He got a little bit mad, but then it was fine. He forgave me and we got married.
So at this point, I don't want to keep Haley. She's a big star, and yeah.
I wish in my dreams.
But this has been an interesting conversation. It's the exact conversation. I wanted to hear about what young people are thinking about. I needed to get this out. Mm-hmm. I want more young people to do State of Mind. Young people need to speak. Everybody needs to speak about mental health, but I want young people to. Too many suicides. We got to stop that. Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
And what she said about anxiety was beautiful. I mean, it's painful, but it's beautiful because I explain it my way, but it's similar to what she said. But we just explained it different, but it's the same feeling. It's very important to people know that even though I've experienced that feeling, she's experienced that feeling, we're here talking about it, and we're cool. Thank you.
Thank you.